Hi, welcome to Strength Reversed. If you don't know me, my name is Amy, and welcome to my little corner of Tarot Tube. I am very excited to be here today to do a side-by-side walkthrough of two gorgeous decks. One is the Tarot of Mystical Moments by Catrin Welz-Stein, and the other is the Dreamkeepers Tarot by Liz Huston. Now, I bought myself this deck after seeing it on many channels, and I fell in love with it. It just feels so magical and familiar, and it's a little bit fantasy and a little bit Victorian. And then Michael, my significant other, he got me this for Christmas, and didn't know what he was buying. He hoped I liked it, and I do. I love it, and they have a very similar magical feeling. They kind of immediately reminded me of Mystical Moments. They are both by US Games, so the cards are structured pretty similarly. I don't know if that's just a US Games thing or if it's a coinkydink, who knows. But I did want to do this for myself, and so I thought I'd put it on camera. I was also inspired by two tarot tuber friends of mine. Jason by Tarot by the Pines, from Tarot by the Pines, did a side-by-side of the original RWS versus the Lustrous RWS. And also my dear friend Ange from Tiny Trinkets and Tarot compared three decks by Rebecca Campbell, three oracle decks. One of them was the Starseed Oracle. And as a bonus, Ange sent me some snail mail, and it had a real vintage throwback handwritten letter and everything. And I love that. And there were some oracle cards. You have no idea how appropriate this is, Ange. I'm trying not to keep myself small. And some trinkets and charms. Oop, there's a sneak peek. Now I have dumped those out, but I didn't look too closely. And so at the end, as a bonus, if you like and subscribe and you stick around, then I will walk through those and put them in my trinket jar. That I can't wait to do that. So thank you, Ange. Now I have a full walkthrough and review of Mystical Moments on my channel, which I'll link up here or down there. And I did not do a full review of Dreamkeepers. If you want to see one, and one that I really agree with everything she said, go to Tarot Nerd. I think Sarah is her name. But anyway, she's Tarot Nerd, and go to her channel. I will link it. And she gives you the scoop on this deck. Because there are some criticisms of like the box here, which is impossible to open, and things like that. So both of them come with guidebooks, and they both do a pretty good job of explaining the symbolism of this particular version of the card, which I appreciate. Now, Mystical Moments just has some keywords basically of upright and reversed meanings. The Dreamkeepers guidebook is much more detailed, and she really explains where she was coming from with the symbols in each card. And that is something that I really, really look for in a guidebook. They are different sizes. So the Dreamkeepers is a standard tarot size, and Mystical Moments is a lot bigger all the way around. So if you don't like big cards, well, I do. I don't like pocket editions or mini versions of cards. I like larger decks. If you don't, you might like Dreamkeepers better, but there's probably smaller sizes of this. Now, I love the silver on this one, but I used to love a glossy card. And I guess maybe it's just since being on YouTube, since you get this thing happening, that I don't love glossy so much. Mystical Moments is definitely high gloss, and Dreamkeepers is not. It is not anything luxurious, so if you're a cardstock snob, you might not love it. It is less flimsy than this standard RWS, definitely. For me, the cardstock is totally fine. It's not the yummiest that I've ever felt. I do like a yummy cardstock, but it's not anything special. I will admit that. Both of the backs are pretty similar. It's this sort of, busy, almost floral kind of Victorian feel. I do wish this was more contrast, had higher contrast. I do like how neutral the backs are. So the backs are not deal breakers for me. I do like the back. Okay, now both of these decks have more of a feminine feel, and this was intentional by the deck creators. I am someone who really prefers to have males and females in my tarot deck, and I like to have a lot of masculine and feminine energy in the deck. Now, both of these decks are super feminine. I do not believe that getting rid of males is empowering for females. I don't think that that is what you need to do to make females shine, okay? But these are very feminine decks, and there are some extra cards in this one. So the Four Kings and the Emperor both have they all have female versions. And I appreciate that she didn't completely do away with the male versions, because for me that would have made the deck unusable. But I do love all of the images, and so I just keep the extra cards in the deck. And so I have 2 Emperors and 8 Kings. I know some people might, that might give them a headache, but I don't mind that. And in this deck, what she has done is she switched the order of the king and queen so that the queen was the highest rank in the suit, and she refers to it as a hierarchy. I do not consider the king and queen to be of different ranks. They are different versions of the rank, but to me they are the same rank. And so whether the king or the queen comes first or last, I don't mind either way. So I just left it in the order that Liz Huston put it in, and that's that. So I don't mind the king being last, the queen being last. It makes no difference to me because I do not see one being beneath the other in any sort of hierarchy. Okay, I'm just going to flip through, and I rearrange the cards so that they're going to be in the same order. Let me zoom in. There. They are a little slippery. So here is the Fool, and you can see this color scheme follows the cards all the way through the deck. And the Magician becomes the creatrix in the Dreamkeepers. I really like that title. What I don't like, and this is something Tarot Nerd mentioned, is it is a very watery card, and I really would like to see all of the elements in the Magician card. This one is a little bit, well, I just like, in that sense, I like this one better. Now here is the female Emperor. One thing about mystical moments is that in order to avoid any sort of, I guess, should I include a male or female kind of conflict, is some of the men are replaced with animals, and I don't care for that. This Hierophant is female, and I would rather just see a female Hierophant than an owl. Again, the same issue. I think there's certainly nothing wrong with a female Hierophant. I don't think that that is any kind of issue. Now, you would think that because of my name is Strength Reversed, that the Strength card would be a deal breaker card for me, and it is not. I'm much more concerned with Death and the Tower and the Three of Swords, actually. I love the idea of the Fates as the Wheel of Fortune. There's one other deck, Tarot of the Weird, where the Wheel of Fortune is a woman at a spinning wheel. And in both decks, Strength is 8 and Justice is 11. We have the Hanged Man, who is a woman, and then the Hanged Woman. I really like both of these death cards. I prefer the death card to be a woman. Now, this Devil is one of my favorite tarot cards ever. I think it's just perfect. I really wish in the Dreamkeepers that the sun was a lot more fiery. To me, this looks like the moon behind her. Now, I really like for the four suits to be really reflective of the element. And in both of these decks, I find that a little lacking, even though the cards are so gorgeous. So in the Ace of Wands, nothing in this card really says fire to me, and I want the card to just be very fiery. And so that I find a little frustrating. Both of these decks have a lot of nature and animals. I love this Page of Wands. It's so cute. Again, I really want the Knight of Wands to be super fiery, and this one just leaves me wanting more. But you can see how monochromatic this deck is. Still very beautiful. Okay, so in this deck we have the King first and then the Queen. So here's the two queens. And then we have a female King of Wands and a male King of Wands. I will say I really prefer this Three of Swords. To me, the Three of Swords needs to be an extremely difficult card. This one just is not, it's almost not sad enough for me. I'm pretty straightforward, and I appreciate that there are 5 swords in here. When I look at a card, I want to be able to tell what suit it is just by the colors or by the symbols and what number it is. And if I didn't have this, I would not know that this is the 5 of Swords. I love that. So in this deck, the Knights, I think all of them are female, and that's not a card that I really care whether it's a male or a female. Yeah, anyway. But both authors really made a point of talking about having more feminine, more female representations in their decks. And to me, as long as there's a mix of both, I really don't care which card is what. So here we have the King first. Here's the Queen of Swords in this deck. And then we have the female queen and the male, I'm sorry, female king and then male king. So here's the king. And then the female King of Cups, which reminds me a lot of the Star card in this deck. Okay, so here are the queens. Here's a female king and then the male king. Okay, so tell me what you thought of both of these and which one you like better. The Dreamkeeper seems a little more Victorian to me, and the Mystical Moments is a little bit more fantasy, but they do both have a lot of nature and animals, and I really like both of them. So it'll be interesting to see which one, how they feel when I'm reading with them. Okay, here is the bag of charms that Ange sent to me, and here's my little charm jar. And I'm dying to see what's inside. Oh, here's one, Wish and Sport. So there's some little word cards. Is this a sheep? What is that? I think it's a lamb. A little Dalmatian. I love this owl. So cute. Little mermaid tail. Popsicle. Summer's coming up. And some words. Friend. I love that little Statue of Liberty. America. And the little stacking doll. Oh, that's cute. A hot air balloon. And an angel wing. Oh, I'm so excited to add these. I hate to mix them in because I want to remember that, you know, oh, these are the ones that Ange gave me, but I can't be that uptight about it. So let me zoom out. There we go. And I'm going to put them in my charm jar now, Ange. Thank you so much. Okay, everyone, like and subscribe. I hope you like this side by side. And yay! I will see you next time, and maybe I'll pull some charms next time. All right, bye guys.